Coming up tonight on Sports Paws, the Quinnipiac women's ice hockey team heads up to Ithaca to take on Cornell in the ECAC quarterfinal.
Quinnipiac baseball team's got a brand new turf field. Let's see how they played out in their first game at home against Merrimack.
And the men's lacrosse team travels up to Merrimack to try to start the season 4-0.
All that and more coming up on Sports Paws right now. Welcome to Sports Paws. We are back in Studio 125. My name is Spencer Decker. I'm joined alongside me, Ben Rickovicius, to break down all the latest news and highlights in Quinnipiac sports.
Spencer, it's a great day to be on desk with you.
All right, Ben, let's dive right in. 2 women's ice hockey players won yearly conference honors this week. Graduate defender Kate Riley and senior defender Kendall Cooper were named to the All-ECAC third team on Tuesday. Riley tallied a career-high 39 points and set the all-time program record for career points by a defender with 98 this season. Cooper was a spark plug for the Bobcats all season. She also tallied a career-high in points, 33. Good for third on the team. Both players were members of the Bobcats leadership team this season. The women's ice hockey team faced off against Cornell in the first game of the ECAC quarterfinals on Friday. First game of the weekend series between Quinnipiac and Cornell. It's number 4 versus number 5 in the ECAC. Let's get right into it. Into the first period, Alyssa Regaldo rips a shot on net. Andres makes to stop the rebound. Goes back to Georgia Schiff, who pockets it in the back of the net. Cornell is up just 5 minutes into this game. It's 1-0. Big Red. They take a commanding lead into the second. Still in the first period now. Izzy Daniel down the ice. She goes around the net. She wraps it back in front. The shot for Delianides goes into the net. Cornell is up 2-0.
That's a tough lead to come back for the Bobcats, but they got a little bit of time, Spencer.
They sure do. We're into the second period now. It's all Bobcats to start off. Sadie Peart wins the draw off to Kaylin LaMarche. She scores past Bergman. 2-1 Quinnipiac. The comeback might be on for the Bobcats. We're going to have to see. Later on in the period, Nina Steigaff passes one to Mia Lapata. It's a shot on net. The rebound from Madison Chandler just gets it on her stick and pockets it in the back of the net. It's 2-2 Bobcats in the overtime. Logan Andres goes out to play the puck. It's a dangerous mistake, though. It goes on to stick for Cornell's Carol Prefontaine. She wins it for Cornell in overtime. A huge win for the Big Red. They take game 1 of the ECAC quarterfinals. What a game to start it off, Ben.
And Quinnipiac and Cornell battling so close, but that's a momentum swinger for Cornell coming into the rest of the series with this overtime game winner. Have to see how it affects them the rest of the way.
What a big win. Prefontaine with the winning goal. The women's ice hockey team tried to bounce back, though, against Cornell in Game 2 of the ECAC quarterfinals. Cornell came out roaring early, and they just never looked back. The Big Red took Game 2 5-0, sweeping the Bobcats to advance to the semifinal round. The first time since 2020 the team has not advanced to the semifinal round, and Quinnipiac will now hope that things fall in their favor when the bracket for the NCAA is announced next week, hoping for an at-large bid.
The Quinnipiac men's basketball team dropped 4 games coming off the weekend. And Friday, they made the trip up to New Rochelle. Could they snap this losing streak? Quinnipiac earned a statement win against Iona, defeating the Gales 82-64. The Bobcats had 4 players with double-digit points, as Matt LeBlanc, Rehard Favors, Amari Tice, and Alexis Reyes had strong shooting nights from the field. The Gales struggled offensively as they only shot 36.5% from the field. Quinnipiac sweeps the season series versus the Gales and jumped back into first place in the MAC standings. With 1 weekend win in the books, could Quinnipiac defeat Siena on Senior Day? The Siena Saints come to Hamden as Quinnipiac faces off against the Saints for Senior Day. Quinnipiac looking to stay on top of the MAC. Quinnipiac starting this game off on a hot 3-on-1 fast break, and Paulo Tieno slams home the dunk to start off this game. Bobcats going to go on a little run here. Beautiful play design from Tom Pecora as they find Matt LeBlanc wide open. Left corner 3, cashes it. And Savion Lewis, Spencer, a guy who we know all season long for his playmaking, he's going to go to the rack. A nice little floater here as he gets that one to the drop. The Bobcats have a 5-point lead going into the second half. Dunks are flying in this one as Amari Tice goes hard to the rim and throws down the one-handed slam. And Savion Lewis on the defensive end gets a steal. LeBlanc, big slam right there, Spencer.
The milestone-breaking assist right there to Matt LeBlanc. He rises up.
And Amari Tice gets it back for the Bobcats on defense. A nice block They get it up to Reyes, who dumps it back to Lewis. The smart pass to Reyes to finish the layup. Bobcats dominate senior day, scoring 71 points and defeating Siena, who only scored 57. Belonk had 26 points to end the day. In the win over Siena, graduate guard Savion Lewis broke the program's all-time single-season assist record, a record that has stood for 31 years.
It's a blessing, like I said before. First, I want to give all glory to God, and I want to thank my teammates, because without them, none of this is possible.
Lewis made the record-setting assist on a transition pass to longtime teammate Matt Belong. He passed former point guard Mike Busetto, who set the previous single-season record for 211 assists in 1993, when the Bobcats were still Division II. Lewis currently sits at 213 assists, averaging the fourth most in the entire nation per game. After the big win against Siena, Q30's Beckett Calkins caught up with Savion Lewis and Matt Belonk about their 6 years in Hamden.
The Bobcats celebrated Senior Day Sunday afternoon in Hamden, and each one of the 6 players celebrated left a mark in the Bobcats uniform.
Every Senior Day special, look, it gives you a chance to just thank them in another form, in another way.
It's not only the impact they left on the court, but also the amount of years at Quinnipiac. Savion Lewis and Matt Belonk have both been at Quinnipiac for 6 years and were honored yet again at Senior Day this year. Head coach Tom Pecora mentioned the unknowns when it comes to Senior Day celebrations in this day and age.
Feel-good day for the seniors, and, we live in a world now where you parade 6 guys out there, and, Paul's going to come back. We don't know. You just don't know anymore in the world we live in, especially as we still go through the tail end of this COVID thing, which I think rides out after next year.
With Pecora referencing the transfer portal and NCAA eligibility differences due to COVID, his starting point guard Savion Lewis said this may not be his final collegiate season.
I have a year, I guess, of eligibility. I don't know too much about it right now, but from my past injuries and stuff.
It wasn't just key players like Belonk and Lewis who were honored, but also players like J.J. Riggins, Arian Lewis, and Nick Margitson. Belonk talked about the importance of getting them on the court.
It's always good to get those dudes to play, man. They put in work every day. They come in, they shoot, and their shots up in practice. They go hard. They do the scouting practice. They may not always get the most playing time on the court, but they're invested and they're bought in. And for those dudes to get to play and have their chance, it's good to watch them succeed.
The Bobcats and their seniors have one more home game on Thursday against Marist. For Q30 Sports, I'm Beckett Calkins.
The Bobcats sweeping the weekend. Let's see how the rest of the MAC stacks up after another busy weekend in conference play. Bobcats reclaimed the #1 seed in the MAC after rebounding from their 4-game losing skid. The Fairfield Stags and St. Peter's Peacocks sit in second and third place, only 1 game behind Quinnipiac. Marist, Ryder, and Niagara fill out the 4 through 6 spots. The Bobcats will close out the regular season with a home game Thursday night against Marist, and will hit the road to face St. Peter's on Saturday afternoon in a weekend that could shake up the standings even more.
Spencer, from women's ice hockey to men's basketball, we sure have covered a lot here. I think it might be time for a quick break.
You know what, Ben? That's just a great idea. Don't go anywhere, though, because when we return from break, the men's lacrosse team hits the road to try to improve to 4-0 to start the season. The Merrimack Warriors will be in their way.
And the Bobcats baseball team hosts Merrimack in a home opener on a brand new turf field. Could John Delaney's squad break in the new field with a dub? We'll be right back.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spot on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. The women's track and field team took part in the New England Championships this past weekend in Boston. The Bobcats placed third overall, finishing with 81.66 points. The team won 3 individual events and also won the distance medley relay with a time of 11 minutes and 56.12 seconds. Alessandra Zafina broke 5 in the mile with a time of 4 minutes and 56.69 seconds, while Rachel St. Germain and Corian Barney took the lead in the 3K, finishing first and second. They'll get ready for the outdoor spring season, which begins at the end of the month down in North Carolina. The men's ice hockey team opened their last home weekend of the regular season against Clarkson on Friday night. Quinnipiac and Clarkson, 2 of the top teams in the ECAC. In this game, Ben, is to honor Al Carbone.
Honoring a beloved Quinnipiac member who recently passed away.
Entering the first period, it's all goalies. Chance for Clarkson here. Vinny Duplessis slides across the crease, makes a great save. Same thing goes for Clarkson. Austin Rhoda hits square at his controller, dives across the crease. What a save. Let's get into the second period where we see some offense. It's time to break that. Tristan Sarsland snipes at home for Clarkson. They're up early, 1-0. The Bobcats are an upset alert. Zach Tupker, though, snipes it in the back of the net. He just gets it around the goalie there. It's 1-1. This game's tied back up here in the second period. A couple minutes later, Eric Bargoltz on the breakaway gets it past Duplessis. 2-1 Golden Knights. A back-and-forth game here. Third period, time for the offense to start going to work for the Bobcats. Cooper Moore snipes at home. 2-2 to force overtime. And now we're going to see a controversial call right before the end of overtime. Jaden Lee gets called for interference here. It's going to put Clarkson on the power play, a man advantage, and Matthew Goslin is going to score the game winner for Clarkson. The Golden Knights come into Hamden, upset the Bobcats, and take this one 3-2 in OT. I mean, what a game, Ben.
Both the men's and women's team 2 overtime losses this weekend, but during the game between Clarkson and Quinnipiac, the men's ice hockey team honored late Al Carbone with a tribute before the game, and Quinnipiac alumnus Danny Federico, who is battling leukemia. Zach Hochberg has a story.
Al Carbone, a Quinnipiac employee for over 40 years, passed away on Tuesday. Carbone was a massive supporter of Quinnipiac athletics, and the men's hockey team honored him today with a jersey on the bench.
Yeah, Al, I mean, great friend. I mean, I loved him. It's been a tough week for all of us, and you know, our thoughts go out to his family, and it was nice that we could honor him in a small way here. We had his wake the other day, and you know, a ton of guys drove in from all over, alums from all over, so he certainly made an impact on our program and on me.
And it wasn't just Carbone that the Bobcats were honoring today. The Bobcats also honored Danny Federico, a former Bobcat who is battling leukemia.
Yeah, Danny Federico. Fedsy, I mean, I loved him. He's one of my favorite players. Great captain. Kind of came in. He had a really good team his freshman year. He had to kind of grind his way into the lineup, and he did. He played a decent amount, worked his way up to come out one. Really in his junior and senior, a top defenseman. But just a great human being, outstanding character. Like, we still feel a lot of the effects of what Danny did for us. I think he was class of 15, so he's been gone 9 years. You know, we still obviously the Joneses and Pecker and the Feds, and you know, just like I said, a great human being.
While Pecknold and the Bobcats may have lost tonight's game to Clarkson, they hope to continue to play for those two guys tomorrow night when they host St. Lawrence. Reporting for Q30 Sports, Zach Hochberg.
Following the loss to unranked Clarkson, the Bobcats look to end the regular season on a high note against St. Lawrence. The 2023-24 regular season finale for the men's ice hockey team, it's time as St. Lawrence comes into town. Quinnipiac looks to bounce back after an overtime loss to Clarkson. Senior defenseman Avari Rossinen is going to start the team hot as he snipes this one from almost the blue line to give the Bobcats a quick 1-0 lead. Halfway mark in the first period. Colin Graff, he's going to do his thing, get around a few defenders. I mean, 2 of them can't even stop him, puts it past the goalie. And he's going to channel his inner Travis Scott, pick up the phone on the celly. Second period, we see a great shot from Charles Alexis Legault, and that one's going to get in the net for the Bobcats. Quick 3-0 lead. Going to get another one here as Travis Treelor connects to strengthen this lead to 4-0. But St. Lawrence, they're not done yet, as Mason Waite is going to have a successful power play goal opportunity here. So 4-1, still pretty close heading into the third period, but they turn on the Jets here. Some great play as Sam Lipkin, not even 30 seconds in, gets a goal of his own, and he's not done just yet. Sorbonne gets a goal, making it 6-1, but Lipkin, it's the Lipkin show in Hamden tonight as they flip that puck up to him, fights with his defender, and puts up a nice shot to score and make it 7-1. Some crafty stick work from him right there. Lipkin will propel the Bobcats to a quick 8-1 win over St. Lawrence, and they get the senior day win. With the end of the regular season, the ECAC playoff bracket has been released. The 4 teams that have earned first round byes are Quinnipiac, Cornell, Colgate, and Dartmouth. The Princeton Tigers and Hartford Crimson will face off in the first round of the tournament. Clarkson will play RPI, Union will face Brown, and Yale and St. Lawrence will play the final first round game. Last year, Quinnipiac held the #1 seed in the ECA tournament, as well as played the Yale Bulldogs in the quarterfinal round. Last week, the men's ice hockey team placed 7th in the USCHO poll. Where would they place this weekend? Let's find out. The top 3 teams of the USCHO poll remain the same from last week as Boston College, Boston University, and North Dakota return their rankings. Denver jumps Wisconsin to take 4th place in the polls, and Wisconsin falls down to that 5th place. Michigan State, Quinnipiac, and Minnesota remain in 6th, 7th, and 8th, as the loss to Clarkson does not cause Quinnipiac to lower in the polls.
The men's lacrosse team looked to stay undefeated on the road versus Merrimack. And they did just that, claiming the victory over the Warriors 15-12. An impressive win moves them now to 4-0 for the first time since 2008, and they're receiving votes in the USA Lacrosse National Poll. John DeLucia led the way for the Bobcats, scoring 4 goals on 9 shots, while the Donnery brothers recorded hat tricks in the win. Mason Oak also continued his dominance in net with 15 saves. The team starts MAC play this Saturday on the road against Canisius. Mason Oak has been playing great for the Bobcats in his first year as a starter. Lacrosse beat reporter Seb Lopes breaks down his performance.
Thanks, guys. I'm here at the Quinnipiac Soccer and Lacrosse Stadium, and I just want to talk about what I've seen as one of the keys to the success this team has seen so far. The men's lacrosse team is currently on an astonishing 4-0 run. They had just missed out on making the top 20 rankings after receiving votes last week, and this week, when they improved to 4-0, it looks as though they may just break into the top 20 this week. One of the keys to this team is Mason Oak. Mason Poley, the head coach, had enormous questions to answer. He had a serious issue on his plate, which was the goaltending situation. He had just lost his stonewall, Nick DiMuccio, who started every single game last season, and only missed out on 3 minutes, which were given to Griffin Fitzmaurice, who we thought may have been who Mason Poley looked to. But that wasn't the case. It was Mason Oak that Mason Poley decided to take his chances with. What is an oak tree known for? It's known for how strong and sturdy it is. That's exactly what Mason Oak has been for Mason Poley and the Quinnipiac men's lacrosse team. Mason Oak currently has a statistics of a 10 goals against average, 40 goals against, 68 saves, and a whopping .630 save percentage, which has led to him being 4-0 on the season so far. Why is this important? It's because of the momentum that it can bring. When you have someone like that can stand tall in between the pipes for your team, it proves huge. He makes a critical save on this end inside of the net, and then what does that do for his troops? It has them with momentum rallying forward. It builds the offensive production, and it leads to goals, which ultimately are needed to win games. So that's why Mason Oak has been critical for this team. And then let's just also talk about his contributions and his accomplishments so far on this season. He has just won his 2nd Defensive Player of the Week award. That is incredible for Mason Oak. Getting an award like that after the questions that he had to answer and the shoes that he had to fill this season. With Mason Oak standing this strong and tall in between the pipes, it's going to be interesting, and something to keep your eye on about is just how far he can take this team on this undefeated run and how much he can rally his troops in the locker room to keep going. That's all I have time for today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Saturday morning was a day the Quinnipiac baseball program will never forget as they played their home opener on a brand new turf field. Quinnipiac taking on Merrimack in the home opener. New turf field. Look at it. Absolutely beautiful, Spencer. A lot of money went into that new field over the offseason. We're going to jump straight to the top of the ninth in this game as it heats up. Dawson Bryce is going to hit this line drive over the head of Gabe Wright as it's going to get 2 runners home. Bobcats relay it in. Merrimack leading 4-2 heading to the bottom of the ninth. Bobcats need a hero. It's going to be Sean Swenson. 2-0 pitch, meatball, and tattoos that ball over the left field wall to tie this game up at 4-piece. You can't give him that good of a pitch on a 2-0 count. He will punish you.
Bye-bye baseball.
Oh, yeah, he hit that thing a while. And Braden Seaberg on first. They tried to pick him off, and he's going to run around the bases as that ball gets past him. And it's really close here because Merrimack has a nice cutoff throw, and Seaberg just gets in there safe. 90 feet away, the winning run. The new guy, the transfer, Dominic Proctor. That ball is going to fall right in front of the right fielder, diving. He can't make the play, and Seaberg's going to round home, and he's going to be safe. The Bobcats walk it off 5-4. Look at the guys storming the field to go get the new guy, Dominic Proctor, making a moment early in his Bobcat program here as they win the home opener. The walk-off, Sean Swenson, a big homer to get the Bobcats in the position to win that game.
What a game.
And surely they'll remember that one for a long time. After taking the home opener in that walk-off fashion, the Bobcats traveled up to North Andover, Massachusetts for a doubleheader against Merrimack. Quinnipiac split the doubleheader against Merrimack, dropping the first game 4-2. Frankie Ferrantino hit 2 home runs to propel the Warriors to the win. The Bobcats dominated Game 2, however, defeating Merrimack 21-3. Quinnipiac's Christian Smith going 3 for 5 at the plate with a grand slam, 3-run home run, and 9 total RBIs. The Bobcats will travel to Newark to take on the University of Delaware this upcoming weekend.
I mean, 21 runs, Ben. That's 3 touchdowns right there.
That is a lot of run support, Spencer. You're right. It's been quite a busy weekend on the base pass, but I think just like that, it's time for our final commercial break of the night. The women's basketball team took the 40-minute drive to Fairfield. Could they hand the Stags their first MAC loss of the season?
And we'll cap the night off with the top 5 plays of the week. Ben, that Sean Swenson homer was pretty impressive. We'll have to find out if it made the list when we return on Sports Paws.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. The women's basketball team had a Thursday night matchup against the Fairfield Stags. Could the Bobcats snap a 5-game losing streak? The answer was no. The Stags came away with a 64-46 victory as they remain undefeated in MAC play. Amelia C. Losevich scored 18 points for the Stags, while first-year phenom Megan Anderson scored 9 and recorded 5 blocks. First-year Anna Foley scored 12 points for the Bobcats in the loss, even though the Stags shot 17.9% from 3. They were able to outscore the Bobcats 33-14 in the first half. After the loss, the Stags We're still in first place, but can the Bobcats climb up in the standings? The Stags remain in first place with an 18-0 conference record, still undefeated. They clinched the regular season title this week and become nationally ranked at number 25 for the first time in program history. Niagara sits in second place, followed by Siena, Canisius, and Manhattan. Mount St. Mary's and Quinnipiac sit in 6th and 7th with losing conference records, while Iona, Ryder, and St. Peter's and Marist round out the bottom of the standings. The Bobcats will close the regular season out this weekend against Iona and Marist.
Quinnipiac softball team had a doubleheader on Friday to start their long weekend. Softball team went 2-0 on Friday in a doubleheader. They defeated the Monmouth Hawks by a score of 4-3 and then went on to beat the Albany Great Danes 3-1. The Bobcats came back from a 3-0 deficit versus Monmouth and had lights-out pitching in the second game from Jacqueline Gonzalez versus Albany. Mary Fogg also recorded an RBI in both games. The Bobcats would move to 3-1 on the season in non-conference play. The softball team would have 3 more games throughout Saturday and Sunday to wrap the weekend up in Florida. The softball team went 2-1 over Saturday and Sunday. They picked up wins against the Southern Indiana Screaming Eagles 7-1 and the Western Michigan Broncos 1-0. They lost to the St. Bonaventure Bonnies by a score of 8-6. The Bobcats were led by Kennedy Demott and Mary Fogg, who combined for 5 RBIs on the weekend. Natalie Apatiga had the lone run in the win versus Western Michigan. Sydney Horn pitched a complete game shutout with 7 strikeouts, and the Bobcats will travel to Virginia next weekend to start the Norfolk State Invitational. The women's lacrosse team went on the road to play Monmouth on Saturday. The women's lacrosse team fell to the Monmouth Hawks by a score of 12-7, as the team put up the lowest score of the season by only mustering 7 goals against the Hawks. The Bobcats went up 6-2 early, but allowed Monmouth to go on a 10-1 run to end the game. Maya Brock led the way for Monmouth, tallying 5 goals in the win. The Bobcats fall to 0-4 this season and look to rebound against Bryant this Saturday. Despite still searching for their first win, one women's lacrosse player won a weekly conference honor. Midfielder Maggie Kennedy was named the MAC Rookie of the Week after an impressive performance early in the week in Wednesday's loss to Sacred Heart. Despite losing 14-12 that game, Kennedy recorded her first career goal, finishing the day with a hat trick. The first year from Blue Point, New York has made 2 starts for the Bobcats this season, and it's the first weekly award for a Quinnipiac women's lacrosse player this season.
On Saturday night, the Quinnipiac women's tennis team hosted the Providence Friars in North Haven. The Bobcats defeated the Friars, winning all 7 matches. Some highlights from the match were Dominique Yu defeating her opponent in 2 sets and winning her first set 6-0. Caitlin Flower also dominated her matchup, winning 6-0 in the first set and then 6-2 in the second set. The Bobcats will head to Bowling Springs, North Carolina to face Gardner-Webb University on March 11th. On Sunday, the men's tennis team took the trip to Providence, Rhode Island to compete against the Brown Bears. The team had a close matchup against Brown as they lost 3-4. Daniel Valek, Carlos Brown-Samo, and Sanad Nayarati all won their singles matches in 2 straight sets. Samo has now recorded 8 single matches for the Bobcats, and Valek is now 5-5 in singles matchups in his time at Quinnipiac. The Bobcats will be back in action against the Holy Cross Crusaders on Thursday afternoon.
Well, Ben, there were so many remarkable plays in Quinnipiac athletics. I wish, we recapped them all, but I wish there was a way that I could go not on social media and check them out and maybe just relive those moments in another way.
Well, Spencer, this might shock you what I say next, but we actually do have a segment like that. It's called Top 5 Plays, and we're doing it right now. Top 5 plays. We're heading up to Ithaca as Kaylin LaMarche is going to send a rocket off the faceoff to the back of the net. Bobcats drop this one 3-2 overtime.
Graduate student Savion Lewis on the court swipes it away. It's the all-time assist record to Matt Blanc, who rises up and slams it home for the Bobcats.
Bottom of the 9th, Bobcats trailing 4-2 to Merrimack. Sean Swenson putting on the cape and playing hero as he blasts a dominating shot over the left field wall. Bobcats walk it off.
Unusual scoring play here. Mason Oak, the goalie, all the way across the field to Ryan Donnery. Juke, shot, goal. Quinnipiac undefeated, 15-12.
Play number 1, Spencer. We got to head back to the ice. It's going to be Sam Lipkin receiving the touchdown pass deep, bumping around the player, and he scores the goal. Bobcats really doing the job well on senior day. They dominate. Well, that is a wrap on another episode of Sports Paws. Thank you to all the producers and everyone working behind the scenes.
Make sure to follow us on social media at Q30 Sports and visit us online at Q30TV.com.
For Spencer Decker, I'm Ben Rukavicius. Enjoy your Monday night, Bobcats.